So, welcome to what was actually Mission 1 of the original game. We're in the Orange Star capital city, and we've got a bit of a remix of Olaf's theme too. This is really cool. There's a lot of music in this remake that I'm blind on. Oh, you say that now. But it's time for, I suppose you know, this means war. So this map has 13 properties on it and nothing of anything else. Get used to this in Advance Wars 1's okay, you know what, I'm gonna do something right here. I'm gonna actually quit out of the campaign. Because now that we've actually reached Mission 1 of the original GBA Advance Wars 1 campaign, I want to talk a little bit about the differences between Advance Wars 1 campaign and Advance Wars 2, because these are very different and there is merit in starting with Black Hole Rising. So, Advance Wars 1's campaign is heavy on pre-deploy missions. You are often given a starting force and no opportunity to build any new units, and your opponent is the same. You can literally count the number of missions in the campaign that let you build units on two hands. It's not many in Advance Wars 1. Also, Advance Wars 1's campaign is arguably harder than Black Hole Rising, so that is also a bit of an issue. This one's more about teaching you how to solve puzzles with what you're given and how the unit matchups work. It's also teaching you how to fight against the opposing commanders. Advance Wars 2, meanwhile, has a much heavier focus on base building, coming up with your own strategies on the fly, and army composition. Advance Wars 2's missions mostly play out like a typical, not exactly typical, but because the maps are horribly unbalanced, but you get the idea. They play out a little bit more like a multiplayer game. So if you want a bit more of an idea about how actually building up units work and how economy works in the early game and things like that, play Black Hole Rising. Advance Wars 1 is more about giving you a strategic challenge and teaching you the basics. Black Hole Rising's story also takes itself a little bit more seriously than the first games, so if you're somebody who finds the first game's quote-unquote story or lack thereof a little hard to take seriously and its characters really dumb, Black Hole Rising actually has a lot of surprisingly deep moments, so that's another aspect of it that I recommend. And with that preamble out of the way, let's begin our first mission without Nell. We're gonna miss her. We are gonna miss her. For more reasons than one. See, as you can see, there's a lot of units here.
Andy!
There's a lot of units here. This is what I was saying, that this is an awkward first mission in the original game, because it was like, it's kind of throwing you into the deep end. I know they expect you to go through a 15 mission tutorial first, but like, as an introduction to a campaign, this is a lot, and I'm personally quite glad that it's not until mission 4 of the remake.
Nell?
What's a transceiver again? Yeah, I still love the fact that this is like a color remix of Nell's theme. First solo mission, but Nell's still going to be giving Andy advice.
Good luck.
Enthusiastic is kind of the only thing Andy is. However, his theme music is pretty cool. So, let's talk about Andy. A mechanical boy wonder with good all-around skills, impulsive to a fault, he's fiercely protective of those he calls friends. Those he calls friends implies that it's not mutual. Andy is average with no specific advantages or disadvantages. So here's the thing with Andy. Andy has average firepower and defense across all units. He's meant to be like the Mario of this game. Here's the problem though. Having no strengths is actually a very big weakness in Advance Wars. Having no good units is a problem. All the later commanders that we see are gonna have a unit they specialize in, and oftentimes, if they use that unit well, it more than makes up for any weak units they have. Andy just doesn't have that, and because of that, he's kind of weak despite supposedly being the, go-to default character. His zero power is also not great. And yes, the trailer was wrong, because that increasing defense is just the effect of all powers, so yeah. Hyper Repair has an average charge time. I personally think it should have had faster charge time, because it's not great for its charge time. It's the same charge time as Nell, I believe. And it restores 2 HP to all units. That's it. So it does encourage more conservative playstyles for Andy. It means that you don't want to throw away your units as sacrifices, you want to keep them alive, because they can potentially come back in the fight later, and it also, when you think about it, maybe saves you a little bit of cash on repairs. But overall, for what it is, especially since you get Nell's Lucky Star for the same cost, it's not a great power. Now, in Advance Wars 2, I have more to say about Andy. Andy got a big glow up in Advance Wars 2, both in terms of intelligence and in terms of actual gameplay viability. But in Advance Wars 1, Andy is pretty mediocre, and unfortunately, we're stuck with him, because most Advance Wars 1 missions don't let you choose your character. So, let's go over this map right here. We've basically got a very heavily defended bottom half of the map, and a somewhat lightly defended upper half of the map. This right here is oh no, it's not a medium tank, it's just a regular tank. Okay then, I thought it was a medium tank. But this is a medium tank. This is one of my issues with the graphics, I will say. The other factions have more distinguishable medium tanks, so we'll see those later. There is a rocket here, but it's not even covering the HQ. This medium tank sort of is, but hopefully by the time we get here, that medium tank won't be much of a threat, because the medium tank likes to go down the bottom. Now these infantry and mechs are going to be distracted capturing these cities, and because there are no deployment facilities in this map, cities mean nothing except repairs, but they're not really going to be that useful here anyway. So these infantry and mechs are actually going to be out of the fight for most of it, and are only really a problem if they get close to your HQ. And our whole thing is to make sure that doesn't happen. So normally what you do in this map is you choke point the bottom here with the medium tank and the artillery, while on the top half you slowly advance towards the enemy HQ. But that's kind of the strategy that you use in hard mode, which I'm kind of used to, where Olaf has, I think this is a medium tank in hard mode, and I think you have, like, no medium tank in hard mode. So, I don't know how hard works in this game, or if it even exists, but I can actually rush my medium tank forward here. I don't want to rush the tank forward, though, because then it's going to get hit by artillery and stuff. So let's go for this. Now the good thing about this not being a medium tank is the fact that Olaf is not going to be gaining a lot of power charge, and yeah, that was probably a good luck roll there. Reduced it to low HP there. I couldn't have possibly one-shotted there, even on a perfect luck roll. You can only do that if it's like 95%. But okay, we've got this 1 HP tank that's just going to lightly tickle anything that comes its way. So, firstly, gotta remember though, there are mountains there, so this rocket is only vulnerable to attack from below. So, yeah, I don't want to do that, and I also don't want to go in that city, because that city is guarded by Mr. Rocket up there. I feel like I'll get more movement out of my techniques if I do this. Yeah, I'm in range to hit that rocket. There are mechs here, but the mechs aren't positioned greatly. Like, if the mechs were a few spaces closer, that's what I said earlier about using mechs as defensive tank deterrents. If there were mechs around that rocket, then I would essentially be giving up that rocket to go for the tank. I would essentially be giving up that tank to destroy that rocket, which actually is a good trade, so that's still worth it. Like, oftentimes you do need to think about units in terms of points values like chess, but that'll come into play later when we actually start deploying units and getting to see their costs. So here, that tank is on a forest, so my tank is not going to be doing that great against it. Also, be careful of that artillery, obviously. Let's go ahead and smash. Oh, you can even see, like, the tire mark, like, the tread marks in the ground as it moves. It's just like honestly, yeah, like, this art style is controversial in some regards, but I actually quite like it for what it is. Oh, that thing's on 6 HP. That, like, normally I would throw my anti-air at it as well, but the problem with that is I might need my anti-air to kill the infantry later, and, throwing an anti-air into a 6 HP tank is not great, because it's going to be taking, actually, one thing that I like about Wargroove, talking about, like, a spiritual successor instead of, like, this actual game, is that, Wargroove, I believe, shows you how much damage you will take in return. on the combat forecast, which is admittedly kind of useful. But okay then, I'm going to be doing this. Yeah, oh, I only lost 1 HP. That's not terrible. Okay then. This APC, essentially this APC is going to be the Victory Marcher. It's going to go up to the HQ and capture it. Now, there was a really funny thing that happened with Olaf's AI. Well, not Olaf's AI, everyone's AI in the original game. Repeatedly taking back moves like that in Fog of War would have cost me a lot of fuel, so yeah, don't do that. I could sack the Recon to kill that tank, but that's not worth it at all. I'm going to instead, like, I would like this Recon to be in the area, because Recons can finish off weakened vehicles. I suppose that infantry's going to be on HQ guarding duty. Yeah, expect to be checking the enemy's power gauges frequently, by the way. You kind of had to do that in the original game as well, because oftentimes your strategy will vary based on whether your opponent has their power meter ready or not, because if Olaf, for example, has snow ready, then I'm not going to be able to push into his territory as far as I otherwise would, and I need to keep that in mind. Now, I still love Olaf's theme so much. Olaf's theme was actually the first Advance Wars song I ever heard, and that's partly why I associate it so strongly with this series. I just think it still perfectly fits the whole, again, like this sort of, you know, comedic military theme. But okay then. Bye-bye, Mr. Rocket. I think this is potentially a one-shot on a good luck roll. Yeah, look at that sliver of health he was left with. So yeah, I could have one-shotted, but it's fine. In terms of status, Olaf started with 17 units here, so if I destroyed just 2 in one turn, that's enough for a perfect power score. So I'm really not too bothered by it. Now, the reason why I had this Recon in the area is actually that Recons are not terrible against artillery. Artillery are effectively light vehicles, and so they're vulnerable to infantry, I was about to say mech, but all vehicles are vulnerable to mechs. They're vulnerable to things like recons and infantry. So yeah, you want to pay attention to that. Okay, yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, my tank will be hit by that mech with a first strike if I move it over there. So instead, I'm actually gonna, again, not take my own advice and attack from a road, because here, again, even though I have zero defense styles on this road, it's better than getting hit by a mech. Yeah, you can see that the cannons on the Blue Moon anti-air are slightly different to the ones on the Orange Star ones. Okay then. Oh yeah, as well, okay, those units are flashing because they're on low HP. In the original Game Boy Advance games, the enemy's units would flash if their power was ready. Like, all their army would be blinking. And that's also an indicator of when their power is ready, when you've got to be careful about that. So again, Recon's decent against artillery. The bottom front is going way better than I expected it to. I guess that's what happens when you're used to playing the campaign, when you're used to watching the campaign on hard mode. See, I don't especially care about those infantry, because they're just going to get stuck capturing those cities for no reason. Could do, oh no, then I get hit by the tank, which is not good. Yeah, I do want to try and, let's not, yeah, I would, okay. I would really like to destroy that artillery entirely. In this case, I probably should do this. I also want to expose my artillery to the anti-air, potentially. Okay, that thing is pretty low. Could Vulcan that with my... I do need to move you eventually, because I need to kill that thing, and then... Is probably not worth sacking the tank just for... Because I kind of want to lure that enemy tank to my artillery soon, so... Okay, right. That anti-air is also, though, going to attack my artillery if I do this. Yeah, I do often weigh up my moves and things like that. Yeah, that's going to get hit. Right. And I don't want to do that, because then the mech's going to get a ridiculously devastating blow. If I do that, my anti-air is very likely to die is the thing. Though... Oh yeah, I do need to get this APC through. That's like pretty much the whole point of this map, is to escort this APC up to the HQ, because routing is generally pretty impractical on a map like this. Okay, I am extremely sorry, anti-air, but I'm gonna kind of maybe sack you here. I do have to be careful, because in order to get like a perfect technique score, I can't really afford to lose much more than 2 units. And I risk the mech if I do this. And there we go. Goodbye, tank. Also, Olaf probably... Yeah, he's got it. Yep, he's got his power now. Yeah, if I move the APC there, it gets hit by the anti-air and by the artillery, while I have a 10% firepower bonus from Olaf going, and that's going to be a bad day for everyone. Although, hang on a second. Remember my own advice from earlier that that you shouldn't end your turn in a transport? This is potentially bad, but like I've got a second mech and I also have more infantry in the vicinity. If I move the infantry here, the infantry can get in the transport. It doesn't matter what type of unit ends up in the transport. Both are equally good at capturing HQs. I can put this infantry here, I suppose. So, we are getting blizzarded.
Now I'll show you what it means to face Blue Moon. Bring on the cold.
In the original GBA game, I'm pretty sure every commander had a unique power quote for every single mission. I wonder if that was Olaf's for this one. I think it was. Yeah, see, that guy is, like, if I was him, I wouldn't do that. If I was him, I really wouldn't do that. Because, like, there's no reason to capture these properties. But I guess it fits with, like, Olaf's, you know, whole, kind of thing, in that he's dumb and he's focused more on conquering territory than he is on actually winning battles. Well, yep, that thing died. That was, not exactly what I was hoping for. This mech may also die because of the 10% bonus. It did, okay. This thing is weakened, though. Yeah, that mech didn't even try and attack my medium tank. Oh yeah, and I do have to remember I have hyper repair as well, but it's still not like the best thing out there. Now, mech first strike versus anti-air. Technically not a horrible thing to do. I think I will actually go ahead and go for this. Because we do suffer a lot of damage in retaliation, but yeah. But it does do a lot of damage, and it is decently, like, cost-effective for, like, the mech. I do probably need to weaken this tank, but it's going to be a little bit problematic because it's full HP 9, a little weakened. The good thing about Andy's hyper repair, though, is it doesn't matter when in your turn you get it, because, like, 2 HP is, you know, 2 HP, regardless of you know, when in the turn you get it. It is helpful to use it early because it means that you get to benefit from the 10% firepower bonus more. Recon versus mech is potentially a little bit scary. See, I don't even want to go for that rocket at all. So it's sort of interesting because this anti-air poses no threat to anything here except for this recon. So, in a sense, I'd probably rather go for the mech. Okay, I think I'll actually go for this with the road just because with the medium tank taking the road engagement, it's going to suffer less damage in retaliation. Yep, basically nothing. And then freeing up this tank to actually go on the plane to attack the mech instead of on the road. Then it'll take slightly less damage from retaliation. Okay, there we go. As she said, timing is everything. So I have less units that can attack now, so I'm going to get a little bit less out of this power, but I will be bringing this tank more up to the level of Olaf's tank there. Can't actually get in that transport because of stupid blizzard. Yeah, that's the reason why. It's the reason why you gotta be careful. And I'm just gonna try and chip this a little bit. Sometimes you can, like, chip things with recons, but sometimes it also backfires like that. Sort of based on the luck roll, whether you do 1 damage or not there. I think I probably do need to use Hyper Repair this turn. I don't really want that artillery to get hit by stuff, so I think I actually have to keep my remaining units where they are, and here we go!
Time for a tune-up!
And there's Andy's iconic power quote.
Hyper Repair!
I think the reason why they're so iconic is they're the only ones you get in War Room, I think. Unfortunately, I'm going to get to hear Andy's power theme for very long. But yeah, that's one of those powers that doesn't really matter that much when in your turn you use it, but also there is the 10% firepower that can be useful sometimes. Yeah, that guy's going to take forever to capture that. Okay, he's pulling back to heal, which might be a problem. Because I definitely don't want a healthy tank near that HQ. I also want my APC to not die, but I knew that it wouldn't die to that. Huh, you're actually attacking first with an anti-air versus a tank. I mean, that's actually, as you can see there, it ended badly for him, but this now means that this next mech might be able to do something. Hello there. Yeah, this is, it's not going to be that good for me. Oh, we actually did destroy one of them, though. We did get it to 2 HP. That chip damage from the recon helped. Okay, I've got a lot of units that I can potentially mop up this turn. I've lost 2. If I can prevent myself from losing any more, I should still have this. Now here is actually a solid thing that recons can do. They can chase down fleeing infantry. Got this anti-air just being all up in my business, as the American localization of Days of Ruin would have Whalon say. But yeah, I didn't play that version, I played the European version of Days of Ruin. Yeah, that's going to take this thing out, and this is definitely going to be a perfect power score. Like, perfect power is not hard to get in the Advance Wars 1 campaign, because the enemy doesn't have a lot of units deployed. I should be able to chase down that rocket later. For now, I want to take this thing out. And there we go, that's gone. So artillery is not really doing a whole lot. So I'll just lurch you forward. Yeah, see, sometimes when I have these enemy units on really low HP, I like to just chip them with my infantry. Because, yeah, that thing's almost to 1, and it didn't really do much on retaliation because of the city. I do have a couple of things here. However, I do also have this, which is a coin flip one-shot, because that's a, 60. Actually, no, this is probably definitely going to be a one-shot, because it's only barely above 6 HP. That thing is definitely out, and now I suppose there's no reason not to hit this thing with it. Okay, please tell me this is going to... that might not kill. Probably won't kill, actually, depending on how much your actual percent... Oh, it's got like... Yeah, there we go. It was like 4.5 HP rather than a full 5. I kind of wish that number was more visible, but anyway... This is going to be clearing out a lot in this area, but I do have to worry about that medium tank near the HQ. So, I was talking earlier about a funny thing about Olaf's AI, and that is... don't want to put the APC on that city, that's a trap. I also want to potentially be careful of that tank, like, getting repaired. And also, Olaf took a beating there. His power's not horrible right now. I don't think a 3 HP tank is going to one-shot the APC, but I'm going to play this safe just in case. Because if I lose the APC, it's kind of all over. Yeah, you didn't really have those reactions from the enemy commanders in the middle of fights before. So yeah, the funny thing about Olaf's AI and everyone's AI that I wanted to talk about is that in the original GBA Advance Wars 1, enemy an enemy unit that was on a property would never move off that property if you had an inventory within 3 spaces of said property. This was probably the AI's attempt to protect their properties, because it's like, oh no, if I move, then their inventory could capture the city. But the thing they didn't really account for is the fact that these units would not even attack, like, at all, which is, it's really, really ridiculous. But they wouldn't even attack, like if you were, like, this rocket would not even shoot if you were had an infantry within 3 spaces and go, oh no, it's gonna capture my property. It's so bizarre, and I don't know why the AI worked that way, but it did. And you could do that, you could do some pretty silly AI manipulation with that on some of the maps, and like get HQ capture victories in situations where you really, really shouldn't be able to, like that you really should not have been able to get away with, in any way, shape, or form at all. Okay. If I move my medium tank here, that other medium tank is going to hit me. But can't move the rocket there, otherwise that medium tank will hit me. I can put my rocket, I can put my artillery here. 2, 3. And that should have the medium tank covered. This feels a little risky, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lure that medium tank down, and then I get to hit it with my artillery. That's generally how you want to handle medium tanks, though typically not with a unit as expensive as a medium tank of your own. Yeah, wherever that guy hits my medium tank, my artillery can hit him back, so... Now let's just hit the weakened infantry. It's not like the other infantry is going to actually do much, but it's still, you know... Still going to take marginally less damage back. I can try and get that at least. Now, I do have to be careful because that guy is going to try and get my headquarters eventually, so that is a thing that can happen. But before that, I kind of wonder if I put the mech here. I'm not too fussed with this mech getting hit by a 5 HP tank, because then that tank just dies next turn anyway. And I'm probably using my APC badly right now.
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was a power quote. Second. Alright, let's just, as I said, I'm not too fussed about this. It is on a city, but yeah. Didn't take a ton of damage. Okay, there we go. You fell right into my trap card. See, this is typically quite bad, but I do have the artillery nearby. That didn't even do anything. Okay, let's just shell this guy. Artillery versus medium tanks, typically very, very good. Just realized you have to hold the button rather than just press it once. I mean, that thing is going to shoot my artillery next turn, though, but... Not too concerned right now. This APC can drop the mech inside that thing's minimum range. However, then the APC is going to die to the rocket, and that is probably not the best. I may as well take you down with the artillery. That wouldn't really have been doing much anyway. I don't like that I'm sacking the APC if I do this. But yeah, let's drop you off. That's within rocket minimum range. And then this tank is going to go here. This will be a good test of the AI, actually. Does it shoot the tank or does it shoot the APC? Because if it shoots the APC, its old behavior is probably in full effect. But if it shoots the tank, then it's actually got smarter. I guess, technically speaking, this is better for me. Okay, yeah, 1 HP medium tank, that's fine. That's totally fine. He probably has his power now. He does. The infantry should be able to still reach that The infantry should still be able to reach that HQ, though. This is what I was saying before about you needing to be, like, careful about, paying attention to power meter when it comes to planning your turn, because sometimes if Olaf uses Blizzard, it can actually throw things out. Because your movement will be lower than you expected it to be. I mean, I could... Oh, actually, I can't really potentially route him. Because also, these infantry, by the way, are really dumb. They'll probably try and capture that property before they go for the HQ, because, again, they're dumb. The AI be AI sometimes. Okay, pulley. Okay, the APC is definitely dead if the rocket shoots it, though.
Let the winds of war bring snow.
I'm probably going to get tired of that eventually, but today is not that day.
Blizzard.
So let's see. And, or unless they like if they kept the AI exactly the same, that rocket is not going to shoot at all. Okay, good, it did shoot. Okay, so the AI is marginally less stupid than it used to be. That's good. Yeah, I don't like the fact that that APC died. But we can start capturing now, and the rocket is also not in a position to threaten this capture because, again, minimum range. And I can just go here and shoot this rocket within its minimum range. And then we have this 1 HP medium tank that is also going to like, it says that my tank is dangerously low on ammo, but it's fine. Like, in practice, if your unit comes if one of your units comes anywhere close, that's actually a really bad idea. That's okay. I may be using this for the first time. Yeah, there we go. Because a repair on that rocket, I would say, might kill the medium tank. And I absolutely can't afford to lose 4 units. 3, maybe. I don't think I can afford to lose 4. It's like 20% of your starting forces for a good technique score. Like, I do need at least, I do need at least 200... I haven't actually explained, like, what the criteria is for an S rank. You need 280 points for an S rank, or more. So you've got, like, a potential, like, deficit of 20 points. But I'm suspecting that I'm not going to get a perfect speed score for this map. So I can't really afford to lose a whole lot of power and technique right now. Oh, this artillery kind of screwed at the moment. Like, so basically this medium tank cannot do like 1 damage to the infantry. HQs give 4 stars of defense though, so I'm not too worried. They give the best defensive benefit in the game alongside mountains. Olaf is like, I am getting wrecked! And yet, I'm not attempting to capture the HQ even though I'm in range because I'm a dumb. Didn't even attack, wow. Okay, don't die, please, artillery. Oh, that was better than I expected, actually. Okay, so I win this turn. The question is whether this is enough for, an S rank. We shall find out when I finish off this medium tank, because, again, I like bullying Olaf by destroying his medium tanks. I don't think I can kill that rocket, though. I could have potentially routed this if I wanted to, but there we go, HQ capture, which is generally how you win most Advance Wars 1 campaign maps.
I lost again.
Well, yeah, that's true. Don't talk the talk if you can't walk the walk. Yeah, he said Nell's Papa in the original, but that may have been a translation issue. It probably did always mean Grandpa. This actually got people to speculate whether Olaf actually was Nell's grandfather, but I don't think that's the thing. In fact, I just noticed something. This story mode seems to have stripped out all references to Olaf being a former Orange Star CO who defected to Blue Moon, which I think means that's been retconned, and if true, I'm glad, because later games imply Olaf was always from Blue Moon and was always in charge there, so yeah, I'd be glad if that was retconned, because it was a weird plot detail that didn't make much sense with the later developments.
So that's Olaf, huh?
Oh, speed was perfect. Okay then. Yeah, not perfect technique, but yeah. That is the case of, you know, some of you may die, but is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Which, in the original game on hard mode, power and technique didn't matter, it was only speed. So you were encouraged to just sacrifice your whole army. I didn't like it, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I hope that Reboot Camp has actually changed that so that hard mode now tracks power and technique. Because it's just dumb that, like, you just rush one guy to the HQ and let the rest of your army get slaughtered, and that's how you would win on hard mode. Like, that was how hard mode in Advance Wars 1 worked. It was pretty silly. But okay then. Next time, we will be encountering a different opponent than Olaf. Will he be smarter? Well, Olaf's not a high bar, but I'm still not betting on them being that intelligent. It is Wars World, after all, where everyone is an idiot. Except possibly Nell, but she's still an idiot sometimes. See you all next time.